with the sex trafficking aspect of it, it is such a huge industry, and I think a lot of people don't understand that, even like tying back to Covenant Eyes, is that it all does stem from the pornography industry. And I think there's a big misconception that it's two different things, and it is all one big beast that kind of feeds each other.
Lauren Holland is our guest today. Lauren, welcome. Thank you for joining the Covenant Eyes podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Great. Lauren, if you wouldn't mind, can you start out and just tell us a little bit about your story, your background, and what led you to what you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was about 17, I found out about the issue of human trafficking. I grew up in California in a very privileged, sheltered Christian family. Okay. So the idea of an issue like that, specifically locally and not just overseas, really kind of blew my mind. And I just felt such a deep conviction that once I knew about the issue, I had to do something about it. I was responsible to do something about it. And so with the Lord's leading, I ended up leaving. I was studying fashion design, and I felt like the Lord said, you know what, you'd be great in that, but follow me into the unknown. And I said, okay. So I left that and then went in to work with missions with women and children in human trafficking for quite a few years. And then the Lord re-brought fashion into my life, and I ended up starting an ethical garment manufacturing company overseas that helped employ men and women out of trafficking. And now I have a children's clothing company that's all faith-based that helps families bring the Bible into their homes and teach their children different Bible stories through what they're wearing. And a portion of all of that goes back to fight human trafficking as well. Wow,
that's amazing. Whoever would have thought that fashion in human trafficking would be a combination in ministry like that?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Amazing.
I never thought that I was going to do fashion again. When the Lord said, walk away from it, I was like, okay, and I let that part of my heart go and didn't think I was ever going to walk back into it again. But the Lord is so good, and He does things in such a unique way and used it for His glory now in a way that I could have never imagined. And to be able to make an impact with it, not only in the lives of families, but also to fight human trafficking.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. So tell us a little bit, how do you connect with and work with various groups that work in defending or fighting against sex trafficking? What's the connections there that you have?
So I originally went in and worked with Youth with a Mission, and that's who I worked with for many years. But when I started my company, I really wanted to partner with one group that wasn't only doing rescuing, that was kind of doing a full rescuing, restoration, education, prevention, the whole gamut. So I worked directly with A21, who was originally started by Christine Kane.
Oh, okay, sure.
And we're locally in North Carolina, and they have an office in Charlotte where they work with women locally there that are in human trafficking. And so we get to partner pretty locally with them, and then also on a global aspect as well.
Wow, that's wonderful. She's heard her speak many times. She's wonderful.
She's fantastic.
That's excellent. Well, Lauren, explain again how that is helping fund some of the work. You're taking some of the proceeds from that business?
So not only is it ethically produced, I really do my due diligence and have a very strong relationship with our manufacturers to make sure that it's all being made ethically and fair wages, and there's no labor trafficking or child trafficking happening within that aspect. And then also a portion of all proceeds go back to A21 to help fight trafficking through them.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So if what's the biggest need your company has right now? Just in terms of what, if there's one thing that you could ask of people, what would that be?
I think just being able to share the story and the mission behind it, because it is so much more than children's clothing. And then also just getting the word out there to purchase the different products and to try them out and give that. They make great, baby shower gifts and things like that. And each of the prints are actually a different Bible story. So and they're all hand watercolored. So I work with an artist in Hickory that actually watercolors each aspect of the print. And then we scan it into the computer and create the final print. So right now our Noah's Ark, we have a Noah's Ark print, and that's probably the most popular one for people. They really connect that with infertility and baby loss and things like that, and being able to find God's hope and promise through that, and being able to then teach that to their children at bedtime or while they're, having those story time moments with their kids.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. So for our listeners, how would they connect with this and find it?
Yeah, so our website is tinyrevival.com.
Okay.
And then we're also on Instagram at Tiny Revival Co. and on TikTok at Tiny Revival as well. Okay.
For our listeners, we'll put those in the show notes, and you'll be able to take a look at that. And would love you if you could support that. So, Lauren, just any last thoughts in terms of the sex trafficking for our listeners? We don't often hear about this or talk about this, like you said, especially in the U.S. Share a little bit, if you would, just the issue and the problem there, and how people can get involved with helping this in the U.S.
Yeah, so it's second largest grossing industry in the entire world. And it makes up just more than just sex trafficking. It is labor trafficking as well. And that's anything from, how your clothes are made to different products that you consume and things like that. And so part of that aspect, I would just say, is be educated on where you're purchasing your products, and really do your due diligence on the companies. And if they're doing their due diligence on the manufacturers that they're working with, and that there's no child trafficking going on or labor trafficking. And then also with the sex trafficking aspect of it, it is such a huge industry, and I think a lot of people don't understand that, even like tying back to Covenant Eyes, is that it all does stem from the pornography industry. And I think there's a big misconception that it's two different things, and it is all one big beast that kind of feeds each other.
Really does.
So just having that awareness, and then also finding different ways that you can help fight trafficking, because I know it is when I first heard about it, it became such a large number, it's such a large issue. It's like, what can I do with my, $50? What's that gonna do? But I really started to identify, just my heart behind it is just help one person at a time. And so as I went and started doing that, I have the girls in my mind that their faces come up every time I'm doing something. And it's like, I just need to help one more person, and not really look at the global problem as a whole, but really just doing our part one person at a time.
Yeah, that's good advice. It is excellent, actually. So, well, Lauren, thank you for joining us here today and sharing your story and your work. This is definitely something we need to be talking about more and in supporting more. So we will share that with our listeners and our audience. For our audience, thanks for joining us today. Again, we'll have the show notes, and you can check that out. But please like and share if you would. Lauren, again, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.